Hello. So this talk is about how to research a topic. My topic is prison sentences should only be for a rehabilitation. The opposing side to that argument is that prison should be a form of punishment, but I'm looking at rehabilitation. So I'm just going to start by making a few notes about the question. So firstly, rehab means it's not punishing. So prison is normally associated with punishment. So then I need to know, what is rehab? What happens in it? Is it skills? Is it a cure for people? How can offenders be cured? Cured of what? If offenders are taught skills, which skills? I don't know. And if they know the skills, if they learn skills, will they re-offend once they've left? And lastly, if rehab is not punishment, is prison too much like a hotel? So, there may not be an incentive to not go there. So there's a few ideas. Now a few more ideas. Why should we not use prison? It's expensive. I know that, but how much? So how expensive to keep a criminal per day? If we rehabilitate, is it cheaper? Probably, if they can leave earlier. But of course, victims expect criminals to be punished. Society expects criminals to be punished. Otherwise, what is the point of leading a life that goes within the law? So, from my notes there, I think I can put a sort of structure into my presentation. So I have a situation whereby prison is a normal form of punishment, and everybody accepts that. Not for all crimes, for serious crimes. Why is that a problem? It's expensive. See ya. It's expensive, and criminals re-offend. Or re-offend. I don't know about the hyphen. So, what are the possibilities? Well, I guess the first one is that prison is so hard that everyone obeys the law to avoid prison. But we know that's not the case. Possibility 2 is to make prison a learning experience. In other words, make it a rehab experience. Why? So that the prisoners have options when they are released, and then they won't reoffend. I think I will put the hyphen in there. I like it with a hyphen. We'll delete that. So I've got my situation, I've got my problem, I've got the possibilities, and clearly then, for the purposes of this, my presentation is about the about why rehabilitation should be used. So my proposal is that rehab is better. Maybe it's cheaper. There'll be fewer repeat offenders, so there won't be overcrowding in prisons. And if it is cheaper, which we'll assume it is because there's fewer repeat offenders, then the spare money can be spent on what can they be spent on? What's the word? Intervention. Early intervention, sorry. On early intervention for people at risk of turning into criminals. Okay, maybe it's easy to read if I do that. Early intervention. Okay, so what do I need then? I need some evidence. What do I need evidence of? I want to know the number of prisoners in general, the number of repeat offenders. Is that going up or down historically? And I want some evidence for the success of rehab. I assume such evidence exists. Oops, I've spelled prisoners wrong. And I want to contrast that success with the lack of success of prison as punishment. So that's the evidence I need. Now I need some search terms for my Google search. So I think in general I could just put in the title, but I'm going to make that a bit smaller, with prison as rehabilitation. I should also do prison as punishment. I need to know what the rehabilitation is. So how it works. So how does rehabilitation work? Now I need to be careful here because we're talking about crime and criminals. So it's how does rehabilitation of criminals work? And what rehabilitation is for criminals. Then I can ask myself questions like, can prisoners be rehabilitated? Arguments for prison rehabilitation. So I've got some search terms. I may not use all of them. I may only use a couple of them. So let's now look for some evidence in a general Google search. So I'm going to take that as a starting point, copy that, open up my internet browser, it's on Google, paste and search. So prisoners rehabilitation. I've got 3 scholarly articles there. I can open that up into a new tab as well. So there I've got my Google Scholar, and here's my Google. So firstly, let's have a look down. I've got politics.co.uk, research briefings, Wikipedia. Let's start with Wikipedia. Keep it simple. And I see there that there's another word for it, penology. I didn't know that. So rehabilitation, the reintegration into society of convicted person, and the main objective to counter habitual reoffending. So I will just copy that and paste it. Wikipedia. Paste that in there. Okay, all right. That's useful. Moving down, methods. Now I asked that question, what is rehabilitation? What rehabilitation is for criminals? How does rehabilitation for criminals work? I have an answer here, also from Wikipedia. So I will highlight that, copy and paste it in. Okay, that looks a mess, so we'll just keep it nice and tidy. That's a bit better. Okay, now you'll notice that there's number 2, number 2, number 2, number 2 and number 1 there. So Wikipedia is actually citing evidence for that, which is very exciting. So I can see here the link to the number 1 and the link to number 2. So what I'm going to do is just copy those, and I'll also paste them in, which has come down there. Okay. So, evidence general. Let's number these so that they're a bit tidier. Number 1, Wikipedia. And then we'll put a line under there. And then I know I'm moving on. So I've answered my first couple of search terms there. What rehabilitation is for criminals. Okay. How does it work? Okay. And prison as rehabilitation. Now I know my search here is a general site. It's from Wikipedia. I would never cite Wikipedia, but I also have this more academic looking information. So that's a start, and because this program only gives me 15 minutes, I will stop there.